Hi, welcome to class. I have another special guest with me today. This is my good friend Bonnie. And Bonnie started practicing yoga 5 or 6 years ago. And in her mid-60s. So she's in her upper 60s, I'm in my lower 60s. And the only reason I'm pointing that out is because I wanted to make it clear that anybody can practice yoga. This is a health practice for anybody. And we'll start very slow, get our foundation set, get our joints mobile and warmed up, and then we'll move to standing poses, but in a very slow flow manner, okay? So let's just close our eyes. You can touch the index finger to the thumb and just place the hands on your knees. And as you close your eyes, just begin to turn inside. We are both sitting on blocks which help to lift the pelvis so we can get the tilt that allows our knees to relax down toward the floor. Taking a wide position with the knees helps. Put a little pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. And the theme for the class today is just going to be to surrender to external forces. When you feel those pressures of the outside world pushing against you, instead of fighting them, just surrender to them. Now just lift the hands, press the thumbs to the sternum, fan the fingers outward. Gently allow the forearms to kind of float up to lift the heart, and then just slightly bow the chin to the heart to lengthen the back of the neck. Set a personal intention here, and of course, as always, opening to grace. Lower the hands, lift the chin, and open the eyes. And let's just begin by coming forward. We have another special guest in the back here, hiding. She loves yoga. She wouldn't let us do yoga today without her. She wants to get that yoga vibe. So press the hands, as usual, knuckle ridges to the heel, and then just sit back in crouching kitten. Now inhale, come back to all fours and do a little cat-cow. See how deep you can connect your breath with the movement, and see if you can get a little more movement with each arch and each round. The head always arrives last. Now come back to all fours. Bring the feet and knees together, and then just walk the hands back. You can kind of release the skin on your shins by pulling up on your knees. This is a nice ankle stretch. And by the way, if you have trouble bending your knees, as always, just put a block under you and sit up on it. Now, reach behind with your fingertips, arch the back, lift the heart, extend the neck. This is contraindicative for knee issues, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to get, if you have the block under your butt, you wouldn't necessarily be able to lean back here, but you can certainly put your hands on your hips and still get the lift in the heart. Now, this is even deeper. If you can put your hands flat, gently squeeze the blades together. It's not a hard squeeze, it's a hug where you're getting. Now, try lifting your knees. This is difficult, so don't do it if it's going to hurt. Then knees down, come up to the knuckle ridges, stretch the fingers out, gently squeezing the blades and extending the neck. Then fingertips lift up. Then you're going to sweep your hands forward, place fingertips, knuckle ridges, heel of the hand. Curl the toes under, stretch the toes, sit back, crouching kitten. Now you're going to lift your sits bones to crouching cat. Take the feet wide and make that beautiful ski slope, lifting the sits bones up high. Nice. This takes strength and agility. Now slowly bring the right heel to the floor, left heel to the floor, and both heels to the floor. Keep breathing and moving. Come to plank. Wriggle the feet back so that your heels are straight up, your shoulders are right over your wrists. You can come down in plank or knees, chest, chin. Now, inner spiral the legs, come up to your Sphinx Pose. Pull the belly in like you're trying to get it off the floor and push the knees down. Keep extending from the waistline up through the heart like you're trying to stretch all of those belly muscles. But keep the knees digging in and the buttocks relaxed. Don't clench your butt. Now, if you feel ready, you can straighten your arms and get a deeper stretch. Keep breathing, keep pulling the belly in, lifting the heart. And then come on down. For a moment, you can make a little pillow with your hands. Turn your head to the side. Then to the other side. And then we're going to come back into Sphinx. Tone the belly in, push the knees down. The feet and knees are grounding. Straighten the arms, this is optional. Look over the right shoulder and then the left. Elbows down. This time you're going to slide the hands back. Back to crouching kitten. Toes curl under. Back to crouching cat. Full stretch from the waistline in both directions. It's like I'm trying to stretch my mat. Slowly bring the heels down, paddle them out. Shake the head loose, release the neck. Now both heels down. Come up on the tiptoes. Stretch the toes. Gaze forward a little bit. Let the head and neck be free and even. Now sweep the right leg up. Push up through the ball of the foot. Sweep the knee forward behind the right wrist into pigeon pose. And you can position it, but here's a little hint. The right knee should be as far toward the right edge of the mat as possible. And I'll show you the tendency is to sweep it this way. So you want to get it over here, it'll feel better. The last thing you want to do is flop over like that. Then just come back down into Sphinx Pose. Extend the torso. You should be feeling this. Keep the foot flexed. If you're having knee pain, come out of it. An alternative way to come into this pose is to start on your side and roll up into it. You may have to take a couple shots at it to get the sweep of it from down dog. Now, to come deeper into this pose, and this is optional, you're going to come up, and I'm going to move my right foot back, my right knee back, but not my right foot. So the foot stayed in the same place. And then I backed my back leg up and came back down. And this makes it deeper. Notice that?
Mm-hmm. It's been a while since I've done
Since you've done this pose. And you'll notice it if it's been a while since you've done.
This used to be my favorite.
It will be again.
Okay.
Now, I'm just going to jut myself forward and get my hands under me for a good foundation for down dog. Remember, knuckle ridges, claw the floor. Curl the back toes under, and you're just going to lift through crouching cat to down dog. Place the right heel down and just stand. Release the neck. Then both heels down. Full stretch. Pull the mat in every direction. Now, tiptoes. Sweep the left leg up. Forward behind the left wrist for pigeon. Now it looks like I'm putting my left hip down because I'm pretty flexible. You just want to keep the pelvis level and not flop over. That's the key. And come on down. Lengthen, walk the arms forward. You'll feel this. So all these suggestions are just that. Just opportunities to deepen your practice. Bring the hands up. Move the left knee back, then move the right knee back and come a little deeper into the pose. That is optional. So let's come on up. And then you kind of have to scoot yourself forward to get balanced and then step back, crouching cat to down dog. And then stand on the left leg. I like to imagine that everything I loosened up and freed up in there, I'm just letting it drain into the earth. Now both heels down. This time we're going to slowly walk forward to Uttanasana or forward bend. Come up to the fingertips. Grab on with the big toes. Pull the big toes apart. Bring your hands up onto your knees. Open the heart. Arch the back. Then root down and sweep the arms up into a little ecstatic back bend. Just a baby back bend. Extend up through the right arm. And then through the left arm. Keep pushing down through the legs. Beautiful. Interlace the hands and arch back. Now release, sweep the arms around. I'm going to take one step back so I don't smack you. You stay right there. So we're going to do this a few times. Inhale, sweep up. So you cock the bow and reach up. Then exhale and release. We're just going to do that same thing a few times. When I say cock the bow, it means you have to bend the knees and stick the butt out, and you open the heart wildly. You can even sweep your arms back. I know you're trying not to hit me, but I'll stay out of your reach. And then exhale, release. If I have to step back more, I will. Inhale, bend the knees, cock the bow, come up. Beautiful. Extend the neck. Exhale. Doesn't this feel good?
Yes.
Yeah. Just this simple movement, if you did it every morning, it's a beautiful way to wake up. And I call this the Hallelujah pose. So it's kind of like just enjoying life's blessings, the ability to even be able to do this. Inhale up one more time. Now exhale, bow forward, swan dive, Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, half up. Check your toes while you're down there. Half up. Exhale, release. Inhale, half up. Keep pulling the toes apart. Exhale, release. Now big sweep, back all the way up. Inhale, come up, pull the toes apart, arch the bow, lead with the heart, and close. It's hard not to lead with the upper back like this instead of the heart. So you kind of have to just train yourself to create new movement patterns. Now release. We're going to do a nice deep side stretch. Inhale, come up, pull the bow. This time grab the right wrist, come to the left. Keep breathing, and as you ground through the right leg, open the right ribs. Now come up, switch sides, extend through the left arm, grab the wrist, palm up, and then arc to the side. Nice. And then come back up. Now we're going to do something a little trickier. And I'm going to stand forward here so you can see me.
Good.
I'm going to clasp behind my head and pull the bow. I've got my elbows forward. This is the Helix Pose. Now I'm going to arc to the side. I push off the diving board, so to speak, and arc to the side. Now bend the knees again and really stick the butt out. You have to arch. Then you're going to add the twist. Turn the elbows up toward the ceiling. This is so hard. Keep sticking the butt way out. Now inhale, unwind. That gets the heat going, right? Head back, elbows forward, bend the knees. Grip with the feet, pull the big toes apart. Now you're just going to arc to the other side, to the right. Legs kind of just, you're pushing off. They straighten for a moment, but then bend them and really stick the butt out again and twist the elbows up to the ceiling. Nice. Really arch back, but stick the butt way out. Bend the knees deep. Yes. You're going to feel that all along the right side. And inhale, come up. And again, release the arms up. Interlace the hands. Try crossing the other way. It'll feel strange. And stretch again. And then just release, arms down, big sweep, back around to Namaste. Take a moment here and remember, when we fight these poses, they get harder, or if you try to muscle into them. The key is here to just try, yes, you have to use force to get into them, but can you relax into that as much as you're efforting into it? That's the balance. That's the secret. Release the hands. Again, off the diving board, bend the knees, sweep up. Exhale, hands forward now. Just like you're making an offering, and bring them all the way down. Touch the floor. Inhale, half up, arch. And then touch the floor. Let those hamstrings really stretch. You may not be able to straighten your legs, but you can try. Find that edge. Now step the left foot back to a runner's lunge. Keeping the right knee stacked over the right ankle, you're going to walk the hands over to the left. And you're trying to keep the knee right there without uprooting the inner foot. That's super hard. And you can even take your hand and push here, give resistance to the inner thigh. Walk the hands back. Left hand down. Step the right foot back, crouching cat. Right hand goes down. And then paddle it out. Come up to the tiptoes. Sweep the right leg up. Forward to lunge. Come up on the right fingertips and then step that foot forward. If it doesn't come, carry it up there. That's fine. So now from here, I'm going to position my left heel down. I'm about heel to heel. Then I'm going to come up onto my forearm. Arch the back. Put the left hand on the hip and just arch the back. So I'm feeling a stretch on my inner right thigh. And if you use your forearm for resistance, you'll really get this feeling. And she's just trying to arch her back. It's almost like she's trying to look forward. Now, slowly straighten the right leg. And here's a little tip. She can put her fingertips on this block. And then she can probably get her leg to straighten a little better. Yeah, if you can't reach the floor because of tight hamstrings, then use the block. But the key is that she's not putting her weight on her fingers. She's really rooting through her legs. Now she can unfurl the left arm. Beautiful triangle pose. You gotta suck your gut. Now take the arm over the head. Turn the pinky toward the floor. Yes, and sweep it all the way around. And then you're going to magically be around in lunge again. Left hand down. Step back. Crouching cat to down dog. And then paddle it out. Now you can walk forward or try jumping forward. Come half up and then fold. Plug the toes in. Inhale, bend the knees, pull the bow, and sweep it up. Close the pose. Release. Pull the bow, sweep the arms up, Exhale, big swan dive forward. Inhale, half up. Exhale, step back. Crouching cat to down dog. Breathe, relax and breathe. Paddle it out. Once you have a good solid foundation, you should be able to relax a little more, surrender into these poses. Just enough effort to hold the alignment. Come to the tiptoes. Left leg up. Sweep it forward now into a lunge. Spin the right heel down. Come up onto the inside and arch. Got your block?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just think about arching the back.
Now slowly transition, triangle pose. Arm over the head. I can cut that out. Sweep it around. Come back to lunge. Step back. Crouching cat to down dog. And then just come down into child's pose. Now come up. Just right where you're sitting, your knees wide, big toes are touching. Come back. Bring the knees together and arch. So that got some heat going, right?
Uh-huh. I have to put my hair up.
Come on. Come on up. Up to the fingertips. And this time, you're just going to sweep the legs out to the right. So turn your belly to a line right straight down the leg. And notice how I've got my knees positioned. And then you're just going to lay over your leg. Now, come on up. And you're going to turn. Ground through your right knee and turn to the left. And I'm going to wind up on your mat, but we're going to come right over. And you're going to feel this in the low back.
Oh, that feels wonderful.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh.
These twists are very cleansing. And come on up. And we're going to come back, place the hands back, remember fingers forward, flip the feet onto the floor. Now this is optional. You can take this or not. But once I get my shoulder blades on the back and my spine extended, heart open, and when I say spine extended, that means all the way through the neck. You can lift your hips, that's optional. This is a big arm and bicep stretch. And bring the hips down. Come on up. Sweep the legs the other direction. You can have your foot in front or kind of tuck it under. Turn from the outer ribs. Just turn toward the leg that's pointing to your right, and you're just going to roll right over the right leg. right on top of it. Keep breathing deep. It'll feel uncomfortable at first, but you're giving the organs an internal massage. And come up. Walk the hands to the right, ground through the left knee, and really turn from the outer ribs. Great stretch on the back.
That is wonderful on my back.
Good. Inhale. Slowly come up. Back around. Plant the feet. Gentle squeeze. Press through the hands and lift the hips. Another option is to cross the right ankle over. I'm impressed. You're taking all the options. You have to kind of get your hips up there, and that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then come out. Change the cross, lift the hips, head extended, don't let it drop. And then put it back down, butt back down. Now simple cross-legged, right in front of left. Feel free to put the lift under your sits bones. Just come forward. How far can you come forward and still not round the upper back? That's the game. We're still trying to arch. And then back, switch the cross. Now for some of you that may be painful on a knee, feel free to just unwind that knee if you need to. Make any modifications necessary. Sometimes I come up on my shins like this to get them grounded to protect my knee and then sit back. But again, that can be challenging for a knee. And then come up. I'm going to scoot a little in front of you and you can scoot a little in back. And we're going to take the feet out nice and wide. You want a 90-degree angle. That means a quarter of a piece of pie. Not wider, even if you can go wider, don't go wider. Put the fingertips down and see if you can feel your spine in on your back. If you feel like you're rounding or if your legs are turning out, put your hands behind you and come up really high. And that's the smart thing to do. That is so good for your spine. And just extend. Now continue with your deep breathing. Keep the legs super toned and pushing evenly through the inner foot as much as the outer foot. It's like you're trying to roll your inner knees down and arch your back. This makes you come forward. It's kind of a strange anomaly. You arch the back to come into a forward bend. And I'm really feeling this on the inner thighs and the hamstrings. And if you can keep the arch, you can go all the way down. But I think Bonnie's legs are a little tighter, so she says, no, I'll stay right up here. And that's fine. She's doing as much work as I am. But I've just got a little more flexibility. And this is where it shows. And a lot of it has to do with the position of how the thigh bone goes into the hip socket, how the pelvis is positioned. So don't be frustrated if you can't get all the way down. You might just have a differently positioned pelvis. And you can refer to the handbook for that. Come on up. Whoops, sorry. Put the feet together, grab the ankles, and arch. This is a great pose. Push your knees down, keep the feet together. And we have our blocks, so I'm just gonna remove my block. And you're gonna hold the block. We did this in previous videos. You're gonna hold the block just like this with your thumbs on the bottom and fingers fanned. And you place that on the ground. And then bring your elbows down. Keep your gaze slightly forward as you're looking toward the block, keeping the curve in the neck, and you're just gonna broaden and melt, and broaden and melt. Now, keeping the melt and your gaze forward, curl the toes under, and you're going to sit back. And then come forward, and then back. So you're teaching the head of the arm bone to stay in the socket during movement. You don't want it to dislodge like this. You want it to stay rooted in the socket. Now let's try putting a little weight on it with shoulders over the elbows. Keep even pressure all the way through the palms and fingertips. Now tilt up into crouching kitten or crouching cat, and you might have to drop your gaze down just a little bit. But what happened to the back is it begins to want to round here. So let's see what happens when she straightens her legs a little bit. Yeah, and it's harder for her to keep that curve. So let's have her bend it again, drive the shoulders forward, and try to get that melt back. Yes, beautiful. And now how much can she keep that as she slowly straightens her legs? Yeah, and that's the game. And you do that a few times, and then you can come down and rest. This is really strengthening for the shoulders. Now try to straighten your legs all the way. And what happens if you come up on your tiptoes? Now you can drop your head fully because you see it's starting to get jammed there. Beautiful. Look at that nice straight back. Now can she take a step in? That's even harder. Woo! Yeah, nice. And then she can come down and rest. And then you can just sit back here and let that kind of drain out. That's a big shoulder stretch, isn't it? Let's try it with straight arms. Sit back, toes curled under. Try rotating the eyes of the elbows forward to prevent collapse here. They won't stay forward, but if you do that action, it really helps. Now lift, crouching cat. You can take a wider stance. Try to keep the melt, and then slowly paddle your heels down. You can move your head around. So this is kind of a narrow down dog. Now come up on the tiptoes, try to keep the arch. Take a step in. You can even try, this is optional, to lift one leg and then the other. You can feel what would it be like to lift your feet off the ground for a handstand. Then walk back, down dog. Now here's something that's really challenging. Can you bend your elbows and bring them back to the ground? Ooh, good, Bonnie. And then back down. And again, just sit up. Let's try one more thing. Turn to the side. Place your hand, so the index finger straight ahead. Turn the eye of the elbow forward and pull the shoulder back. the whole heart turns up toward the sky. Put the opposite. So my right hand is on the mat. So my left foot is on the mat, about in the same line as the hand. But I'm really turning my heart. And this may feel like a challenge. If it collapses, don't go any further. But you can come up onto your right shin. You can extend your left arm. And you can even try getting your right foot under you. That's kind of precarious. And then come back down. But notice my shoulder stays integrated no matter what. Let's try the other side. How'd you do? I didn't see you. Did you go all the way up? That's fine. And I like that because she's honoring where she's at. Left index finger straight ahead. Rotate the eye, the elbow forward. Open the heart. Just stretch this pectoral muscle. This shoulder blade has to engage on the back to open that up. And I love that she's keeping her head extended. Sometimes when people anticipate, they go like that, and it doesn't help. So right foot down, come up onto the left shin, and that's enough. That's a lot of weight. And if you can maneuver that left foot down, that's great. And then come back. But this shoulder stays true and the head stays back. That's the little game. And then come back down. Now, from child's pose, let's just bring the fingertips forward. High, I call this spider fingers. Shoulders high, bring the forehead down. See my bra. See my fucking bra sticking. And then just swing the legs out in front. We'll come up into tabletop pose. Squeeze the blades, open the heart, lift the hips. She's looking at. I love the birds. It's a great sound effect. Come back down. And then just come back to sitting. That's it for just a nice shoulder warm-up that you could do daily just for a few minutes to practice getting into inversions and arm balances. Have a beautiful day. Now, bring your feet flat to the floor, lower down, don't roll down. Roll the outer arms in so that the palms roll up and the heart opens. I'm going to come up, but she can stay there. And then she just moves her hands enough out from the side, I'd say about 25 to 30 degrees, and then she can just relax her fingers. And when she relaxes her neck, her shoulders, her arms and hands, her back stays arched. And then she can go ahead and straighten her legs. When she straightens her legs, she's welcome to take them a little wider apart and just let them flop open. And this is Savasana, or corpse pose. She allows the tongue to come away from the roof of her mouth. And when the eyes seal shut, it's as though the eyelashes were just softly merging together. There's no muscular movement to the eye muscles. Even the eyebrows, the forehead, and the temple relaxes. The sockets deep behind the eyes and the supporting orbit of the eye right under it relaxes so much that the cheeks feel like they softly broaden. This makes a little turned up, natural smile to the face. And as the breath begins to soften, becomes more shallow, the body will feel heavier. And now you will release into a complete surrender. No muscular activity whatsoever, not even to breathe. The breath will just become naturally quite shallow. Lay there as long as you wish. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.